My first guest is John Wheeler, who's the managing director of our New York office. And John, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Welcome. We're going to talk about co-working,
Yes.
right? So first of all, I know we hear a lot about different companies out there that do this, but for those of our viewers who might not know, what is co-working? Because in some cases, it almost sounds like you and me work together, and that's co-working.
It's a great question because it's really a trend that's developed out of the temporary office facility. So we're all familiar with Regis, who was the largest temporary office provider, but as the workplace has changed, there became a need for an environment that had flexibility, and that pertains to length of term that you could occupy space and be fluid in terms of the scale of the envelope that you're operating your business in.
So what kinds of companies does co-working space most matter to?
Right. So the co-working image, if you will, grew out of the initial tech-oriented kind of temporary spaces, the programmers, if you will, but the
For people who can't necessarily commit to a full lease,
yes.
Is that?
Yes, so these would be startups. These would be people who may have left their larger company workplace to start a new venture. Oftentimes, the beginning members of these types of facilities really were startups and sole practitioners. What's happened in the last 5 years is a dramatic diversification of the profile of that user.
Okay.
So today, a very sizable portion of co-working membership is represented by mature corporations. So they are often
That's a surprise.
Yes. So the reason for that is what is going on within the co-working facility. So there's a tremendous amount of networking, collaboration, leveraging of other people's talents within that network. So if you're a member of a co-working company, your ability to connect with others that have skill sets that you might require is enhanced, and it's actively managed for you to be able to connect with others that you may want to do business with or have a need for their services. So oftentimes a mature company, they may get a license or a membership for a group that's off to do a special project.
Okay.
Or they may be out there generating new concepts and ideas, and the companies think that they'll benefit from being in that sort of fluid environment with having these serendipitous collisions of ideas and talent. So you've got everything from banking institutions, large accounting firms, down to your single practitioner startups and everything in between.
What are the typical sizes or number of people before you can actually do something like this?
Now it runs the gamut, and the reason it runs the gamut is because all different types of mature companies have found value in these environments.
So there could be lots, and we're not just talking a handful of people anymore.
Exactly. By way of example, we have a large institutional banking client down here in Lower Manhattan. They leased a whole floor from a co-working provider, and it was because they had built within their space sort of a free-form space, and people were using it for ad hoc kind of meetings, brainstorming sessions, just to get away from their workspace and go get together. And they said, we're not going to recreate this through all the floors of our building, so they ended up contracting for an entire floor.
And real quick, John, how does that affect the landlords? Because that's got to be a bummer for them.
Interestingly enough, I think the conventional wisdom was that these types of facilities could be detractive from their target occupier, but it actually is enhancing their environment. So if you have a co-working environment within your building, if it's just the floor or floors that they lease from the landlord, that's an amenity for all the other tenants in the building, because a significant amount of the clients, the co-working environment's activity are curated events.
Yep.
So you may have a company that decides to set a topic up and they'll do that within a co-working space.
Well, I really appreciate you being with us today and talking about that, because it is something that is affecting a lot of people, both from, like you said, all industries that need space, as well as the landlords. So thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
Pleasure.
Appreciate your time.